Now we will talk about analyzing and troubleshooting signaling and media protocols. So when we are talking about signaling media protocols, first we will talk about the user agents. Now, what are user agents? User agents are the end phones that are communicating. Now, two components of user agents are there, UAS and UAC. UAS stands for user agent server and UAC stands for user agent client. Both the phones, whether it is the calling agent or the called agent, both can work as server and client because both are sending, receiving requests and response. So two of the components of user agents are there: user agent request, user agent server, and the user agent client. So let's say this first phone dials the other phone. Let's say this is 1001 and this is 1002. So let's say 1001 dials 1002. This starts the request. So this sends a request or an invitation to participate in the session. And in response to it, 1002 sends a response. Response can be okay if it is ready to take the call, all the parameters have been matched, or response can be busy or moved. Moved means either it is temporarily moved or no longer there, right? So SIP uses a request response transaction model between the endpoints. So what happens in a server client model? The device which is sending the request is the client, and the one that is sending the response to it is the server. For example, like if um, I want to get an IP address from a DHCP server, as I am sending the request for the IP address, I am the client. And the DHCP server, which is providing me that IP address or that service, is the server. Similarly, when I'm trying to access a YouTube page or a video on a YouTube, I'm searching for that. My device is a client which is sending a request, and the YouTube server which is sending me the response to it is the server. Same way here. So the device, the IP phone, which is sending the request or the initiating the which is initiating the request for the session is a client. So in this case, because 1001 is dialing 1002. This is sending the request. So 1001 here is the client and 1002 here is the server, okay, which is sending the response. Responses can be okay is the mode. Okay. So SIP uses a request response transaction model between endpoints, user agents. Endpoints or user agents is the same thing. User agent, for example, a SIP phone performs two roles: UAC, user agent client, which sends request or SIP request, and UAS, user agent server, which receives SIP request and returns the response. Then there are different types of SIP messages. So these are the different types of SIP messages that exist, starting with the invite message, acknowledgement, buy, cancel, options, register, and there are some more we will see in the next slide. So first is the invite message, which is sent when a user or service is invited to participate in the multimedia session. So to take the part in the call or in the session, the invite message is being sent from the initiator side. Then an acknowledgement confirms that a client has received the final response. So it confirms that a client has received a final response to the invite request. By message, when the session is terminated, so it terminates an existing session, can be sent by any user agent in the multi-party session. So any party, when disconnects the call, a terminate message by message is sent. Cancel is sent from the initiator. So let's say I've just dialed a number. Let's say I'm trying to call you. I go ahead and I think, okay, let me call Paulina. And then I dial the number, invite message is already sent. So, and then all of a sudden I recall that, oh, no, I don't have to call. I had to email you. So I just disconnected from my side. So then in that case, when the initiator itself disconnects or terminates the session, then a cancel message is sent. So it cancels the pending request. The request was sent and it was pending. It was not answered by the destination. It does not terminate the session that has been accepted. So it is not yet accepted, only the pending request, that is the cancel message. Options message are sent when a query is being sent. Query is the capabilities of the server, also known as keep alive. So let's say my invite message is being sent. I've also got an acknowledgement. Now the next step is I am querying the capabilities. So let's say I'm matching the codec, if the same codec is being supported by both the phones, or all the parameters that needs for the session to be established. So that is where options message is sent. Register, when the user agent is registered with the registrar server of the domain, a register message is sent by the SIP phone or the SIP endpoint. So when a user is trying to get registered, so it is registered on a registrar server, which the registrar server can be a SIP server or CUCM. Next, we have some more SIP messages: info, PRX, subscribe, notify, update, message, refer, and publish. Info is where the it requests more information within an established dialogue. Now, let's say we have already a session established, the call is going on. Now, I want some more information or more requests I want to add to the same session. For example, I want you to transfer my call to any other DN. That will be another request additionally in the same session. So that is info. PRAC is it acknowledges the provisional request. So it is for the requests which are already going on. So in that case, like if I'm sending any additional request, so for the provisional responses, it will acknowledge it that, okay, go ahead with the other request. Subscribe, it tells the remote node to look for a certain event. So subscribe message is used for the different events. Notify responds when the certain event occurs. So if that event occurs, it will notify the call initiator. Update, some parameters for a session setup. Update parameters can be done. So let's say I have dialed a number and that user has done some settings like forwarded all calls to any other user. So an update message will be sent that that user is not available. Your call is transferred to or forwarded to this user. Message, SIP instant messaging. That's just when we are using like text messaging or instant messaging. So a message, SIP message or message itself is used. Refer is to refer one user agent to communicate with another user agent. Publish pushes user agent state information to a compositor or presence server. So that is the publish information. Like if I want to see any user's presence information, that can be done using publish message. So these are some different SIP messages: invite, acknowledge, buy, cancel, options, register, info, PR, act, subscribe, notify, update, message, refer, and publish. Okay, next is, now we know what are the different SIP messages. Now, how we identify those messages? So what are the response codes for that? So there are different response codes for different types of SIP messages. Like we have response codes starting with 1. So 100 series of response code, 200 series of response code, 300 series of response code, and some more we will see. So 100 series of response codes are informational. So when you have request received, continuing to progress or to process the request, you get a response code of 100 series. Different types of 100 series of messages can be 100, 180, 183. 100 for trying, 180 ringing, 183 is session progress. 200 series is success message. Success message when the action was successfully received, understood, and accepted. So two different types of success messages are there: 200 okay and 202 acceptable. 300 series of messages are redirection. When another SIP element needs to be contacted for the session to be completed, for the request to be completed, when redirection takes place, then 300 series of response code is received. Different types of 300 code messages are 300 for multiple choice. When you have the Same destination number for multiple phones or multiple choices are there, or it is moved permanently or moved temporarily. So 301 for moved permanently when it does not exist at all. Temporarily means maybe it is forwarded, that is temporarily. So these are some SIP response codes. Similarly, we have codes like 400 series, 500, and 600 series. 400 series of response codes are for client error. It requests contains bad syntax or cannot be fulfilled at the server. Now, if let's say I have initiated a call, I am trying the call, everything happened. I've got an OK message, got a success message, but the call is not connecting due to the problem at the server end. So it is a two-way communication, right? Client and server. So if the problem is on the server end, I will get a 400 series of response code. It can be unauthorized, not found, not acceptable, or busy here. So in those cases, these are the different response codes we will get starting from the 4, right? Similarly, 500 series of response code is a server error. So it is server failed to fulfill apparently valid request. So the service is unavailable. This just simply means that everything on this, the problem resides on the server and only. Okay. 600 is the global failure. Now, in global failure means it can be on the client as well as it can be on the server also. But it is not always guaranteed and you does not find out where it actually is. It is just like you make a call and nothing happens, just do, and that's it. You just hear it. Request is invalid at any server. It can be at any server. It can be client, can be server. And you get a 600 busy everywhere response when you are doing a troubleshooting or let's say debugging. So this is what you get. So these are some response codes that you need to know in case you have to do any troubleshooting or monitoring. So you know what type of message is being received, why the call is failing, if it is successful, what all messages are being received, and so on. Okay. So we discussed about a register message also. So when a SIP phone gets registered on a SIP registrar, so it sends a request to the registrar and it gets registered. So two phones we can see here, both are sending a register message and they are getting registered by this number on this IP. Same way the other phone gets this number, this IP. Redirect when the SIP registrar is redirecting the request to any other user. When in case the destination has moved temporarily, so in that case, it will be redirected. For example, if the user does not exist there and moved temporarily, for example, it has forwarded all calls to any other user. So it is not going to the uh, correct destination, but it is taking the call and redirecting it to any other user. So it will say, okay, 302 error. It is moved temporarily, but I'm giving you an acknowledgement and sending the invite to the redirected party. Okay, then there are some SIP server types. There is a can be a proxy SIP server and there can be a proxy with record route. So proxy is just like your let's say giving an attendance on behalf of your friend. Same way the SIP proxy will do. So it will do the same task as the SIP server or in this case, CUCM can be a SIP proxy as well. So let's say you want to forward the SIP messages to any SIP server which does not exist in your own network, but you want to send it via any server like CUCM, it can be a proxy in that case. So what will happen? An invite message will be sent. Invite message will be forwarded by the proxy server to the destination. It will send back an acknowledgement 200 that okay, invite has been sent successfully. It will send an acknowledgement, okay, and then once the call is disconnected, it will send a bye message directly to the called party. Similarly, there is another SIP server type, proxy with record route. Now, this is nothing but the same as proxy server, but additionally with record route, if you have to record these messages. Let's say you want to keep a track of a record of all these messages being exchanged between the devices. Then a proxy with record route can be used. So here what is happening, every message is being recorded on the proxy so that you can retrieve it. Okay. So as we discussed about the user agents, we have user agents, we have user agent client, user agent server. Similarly, in that case, the CUCM also become an agent, which is called a back-to-back user agent, which is our CUCM. So CUCM is not a proxy because it provides many additional features like call admission control, codec negotiation, interoperability with the different signaling protocols, and many more. Here, CUCM is a user agent, which is providing a back-to-back user agent. So whenever communication is happening between these two endpoints or user agents via CUCM, CUCM here is a back-to-back user agent. Okay, now here we can see an exchange of messages or SIP messages between the phones. So let's say phone one wants to make a call outside of the network, let's say to a PSTN phone there, 40832511111, whatever, right? So this phone dials this number. We have CUCM here, we have gateway protocol configured, let's see, SIP is configured for that purpose. Now, what will happen when the phone once sends the request? There will be invite message. There will be invite message forwarded by the CUCM to the gateway, to the destination. Then once the invite message is being sent, it says okay. And the OK message is forwarded back to the initiator. It sends an acknowledgement, and acknowledgement is sent forwarded to the PSTN or the destination, and the session is established. Now, in this process, when these messages are being exchanged, invite message is important where all the capabilities are exchanged and matched. So inside the invite message, there is this type of information. So when you do a debugging and you monitor, these are the information that we see in the invite message. This is called an early offer. So in the early offer of SIP, what happens is within the invite message, when the phone starts a session, when it is calling this number 40832511111, it is sending an invite message. This phone consists, or this invite message consists of the information or the parameters of the capabilities of the phone. Like it says that, okay, it is an audio, this is the port number used, RTP, these are the codecs supported by it. So these are the different codec types like MULA, G729, ILBC, and all that. So these all parameters are being exchanged, sent by the phone one, which will be exchanged and matched from the destination also. Once these parameters are matched, let's say any codec is supported, common codec is found, and all the parameters or the port number or supported bandwidth, everything has matched successfully, it will send an OK message here, right? And then there'll be an acknowledgement and the session will be established, right? Then there is another method also other than the early offer in which the invite message does not contain these parameters. It just sends an invite and then the destination sees that, okay, no parameters were there, but okay, I am accepting this. Now, next step is I would want these parameters to be matched, right? So two ways are there. Either in the invite message, in the very first message itself, you exchange those parameters, match them, and then go ahead with the next step and next messages. That is early offer. And the second one is the delayed offer, in which the invite message from the initiator does not have these parameters exchanged. Okay. When the call is terminated, a buy message and an OK message for the buy for the termination is being exchanged. This is the early offer. Next that I was talking about is delayed offer, in which we can see that phone one has sent a call to an PSTN number. It sends an invite. Inside the invite, there is nothing right now. I mean, no capabilities are being exchanged. It's just a simple invite message. And then while the destination has received this invite, sees that there is no information in the invite message to be matched. So it's okay, I accept the invite, but now as I'm sending this acknowledgement or a success message, I am sharing my parameters. It says this is what I support. This is my port number. This is my codecs I support. And now, okay, you tell me yours. Now, as in this OK message, in the success message, which it contains of these parameters, it will be received by the call initiator. Now it will exchange these parameters, match. Once these matches, it will send an acknowledgement and session will be built. Right? Session established. If it is terminated, a bye message will be sent and received and will be successfully terminated. So this is the only difference in early and the delayed offer, that the parameters between the phones is exchanged within the first invite message from the initiator, whereas in delayed offer, it is sent by the destination as the invite message does not have that information, but it needs to be matched. This is what I was talking about. So offer answer models are of two types, SIP early offer and SIP delayed offer. SIP early offer has these set of messages, invite with SDP, as these information that we saw here being exchanged in the invite message is sent via a protocol called session description protocol. So in early offer, there is session description protocol that offers the capabilities or the information about the phone that is making the session. OK is sent with SDP as answer. Acknowledgement will be sent with no SDP required because already the description is being exchanged. So the session description protocol has done its task in the invite and the OK message, and the information or the description of the call is being exchanged. So in acknowledgement, there is no SDP required and the session is established. Whereas in delayed offer, invite doesn't have any description. There is no session description protocol being used in the invite message, but in the 200 OK message. When the success message is being sent, it is sent with the session description protocol, sending the offer here, whereas the offer was sent in SIP early method in the invite message itself. Here, the offer is sent in the success message, 200 OK message, with the session description protocol, that is offer. Then in the acknowledgement, there is an answer from the call initiator and the session will be established. So here there is an SDP with the 200 OK and acknowledgement message. Both uses SDP. Invite does not use SDP. Whereas in early offer, invite and 200 OK message use SDP. Acknowledgement doesn't use SDP. This is the only difference between these two offer answer models. So SIP early media with delayed offer. So early media with delayed offer is where invite message with no SDP is there. Then a 183 session progress with SDP offer is sent. Then a PR act with SDP in form of answer is sent. And media stream is established or the session is established. Then PR, this is for provisional request. So provisional request, acknowledgement, success message will be sent, acknowledgement will be there, and session will be established. Early media with early offer. Now, basically what happens is with early media delayed offer or early media early offer. Let's suppose I'm making a call and before the call is being established, before you have answered the call, let's say I'm calling you and you have not answered the call, but before that, some media is being used for that call. For example, you have some caller tune, right? So when that caller tune plays, that is an early media. Early media because before the session has already been established, there is some media used. So for that media, that is called provisional request exchange. So it is for that purpose. So if early media with delayed offer is used, we note that in delayed offer, invite does not have SDP. Then because of early media, additionally, there is this type of message, 183 session progress with SDP. This SDP message will be for the media, the caller tune, right? Provisional acknowledgement for the media will be sent as a Answer. Media stream will be established. Now, session is still not established. Media stream is established. That means I'm getting the call return, right? Next, I'm getting an successful message and invite message for the early media. Once this is done, early media part is done. Next is acknowledgement being sent. And as the in the SDP, in the PR Act, the parameters are being exchanged and they are matched, then it will go ahead and establish the session. So that is early media with delayed offer. Same way, early media with early offer. So now in early offer, we know that there will be SDP in the invite itself. So that means capabilities have been matched on this stage in the invite itself. Then for early media, there will be 183 session progress with SDP. PR acknowledgement will be there. It is optional in some of the phones. And media is established. Once the media is established, we'll get a PR ACK message, OK message, and SDP for early offer. And then once the acknowledgement is received, the session will be established. Okay. Then SIP DTMF relay, dual time multi-frequency relay. So when we are dialing any numbers, like for example, IVR. So I'm calling on a customer care in a customer care office, and it says, okay, for English, press this. For Hindi, which is our local language, press 2. So it is waiting for my input to go ahead with the next step, right? IVR service or things like that. So their DTMF relay information is also being sent. So two types of methods are there, in-band and out-of-band signaling. In band, the audio as well as the input for the RTP stream is sent in the same packet. Whereas in out of band signaling, the audio and the RTP packets are sent separately. So there are different types of methods: SIP KPML, SIP notify, and SIP information. These are the two DTMF relay methods. So here, if we are using, let's say here we see SIP out of band has KPML notify information. Different examples we'll see now. So for SIP DTMF relay KPML, when you are doing a debug, whenever you do a debug and this type of method is being used, you can see the event as this in the output of debug, right? This is what you will see, what was the digit dialed, what was the tag, and so on. Yeah. So there is a command that we use for debugging, debug CSIP events, which will help you find out these. Then if it is a notify method, then you will see call information like this method notify, event, telephone, duration in seconds, milliseconds. If it's a SIP info method, then you will see the content type, application, DTMF relay, signal, duration, like this.